Hello soulmates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video I will be teaching you how to cut and also how to sew this beautiful wrap top with a bell sleeve. So this is the inspiration on the screen right now, and as you can see my recreation. So guys, we'll be using a freehand method to cut this. That means that we do not need any pattern drafting for this tutorial. So if this is a tutorial you're interested in, please like this video, comment down in the comment section, please subscribe to this channel, and also click on the bell icon beside the subscribe button so that you can get notified whenever I drop new videos. So without wasting much time guys, let's get right into the video. Welcome guys, so this is the fabric I'll be using, and this is an Ankara fabric. So I have 2 yards of fabric here, and please bear in mind I'm size 6, so if you are size 10 you may need like 2.5 yards, that's 2.5 yards or more. So now I've folded my fabric into 2 and I'll be cutting the back first. So at one end of my fabric I will measure 1 inch. This will serve as my hemming allowance for the blouse. So I'll just measure 1 inch upward like this, then I will roll this out. So this 1 inch will serve as the hemming allowance of the top. So if you want to add more for your hemming allowance, you can do that and add more, but I'm using 1 inch. So the next thing to do is to measure your wrap top length. So for me I'm using 17 inches, and this 17 inches is 2 inches below my half length. So if your half length is, let's say 18, you might want to use 20 or just use 21. Just go below your half length. So my half length is 15, so I went 2 inches below. So now I'm measuring ½ inch at the upper part here. This will serve as the joining allowance at the shoulder area. I hope you get. So the next thing I want to do is to mark my armhole length. My armhole length is 7.5. I'll roll that out. Then I will also mark my bust length. So my bust length is 9 inches. As you can see, I'm measuring below the ½ inch I measured. You know there is 2 lines at the upper part, so I'm using the second line below. So my bust length is 9. Please, my measurements will be different from your measurement because we are not the same size, but just follow what I'm doing. So here I'll measure my shoulder measurement divided by 2. So I'm using 7¼ inch. My shoulder measurement is 14.5. so I'll just roll it. I'll roll it downward to the armhole line I measured. So the next thing I'm doing here is to measure my bust measurement divided by 4. So after doing that, you just go ahead and divide this line into 2 and go down by 1 inch. Then you just connect, just the normal way of connecting your armhole. So that's just what we are doing right now. So you connect it upward, and this is what we have here. So the next thing I want to do now is to measure my bust measurement at my bust line. So the line below my armhole line is my bust line. Then I'm adding my 1.5 inches sewing allowance. So at the lower part here, I'm measuring my waist measurement divided by 4. My waist is 26, so 26 divided by 4, I'll measure it there. Then I'll add 1.5 inches joining allowance. You don't have to add any dart allowance to this. So I'm connecting it upward just like this. Then I'll connect it upward again to the armhole line. So this is what we have. So the next thing I want to do is to measure my neckline. So I'm using 2 3/4 inches. This is because when I sew with my 1/4 inch, I will have 3 inches. So I'm using 2 1/4 inch. Then I'm going below, going down by 1.5 inches. So the wideness is 2 3/4 inches. That's almost 3, and I'm going down by 1.5. So the next thing is to just do your shoulder slope right here. Then you connect the points together. So after connecting it together, you go ahead and you just cut. So I went ahead to cut this out, and this is what we have. So the next thing to do is to cut the front. Then for the front, I'll be placing the back on this fabric. As you can see, this fabric is also on fold. So if you notice, there is enough space at the front. So for the space, you measure what you have at the waistline of the one you've cut before. So I have around 8 inches there. Then you should have something very close to that at the front. So for me, I have 7 inches extra at the front. So just take note of that. So what I'm doing now is to rule a line at this point so that you guys can see where the back bodice that we cut out before is stopping, so you don't get confused. So I've ruled a line there. So the next thing I will do is to measure my neck depth. So how deep you want your neckline to be. So for me, I'm using 7.5 inches. So I'm measuring 7.5 inches downward, and this is meeting the fabric I placed on the new fabric I want to cut. If you notice, this line is on that fabric. So now I will trace this point upward to the neckline. Now we've already cut out the neckline of the back, so I notice at that line upward, and I'll be connecting it like this, so as you can see. So the next thing to do is to connect it downward. For this part here, I'll first measure my 1 inch hemming allowance, then I will add 2¼ inches here. So this is because I want to use a belt of 2 inches, and I'll be hemming the neckline by 1/4 inch. That's why I'm adding 2¼ inches. So the next thing to do is to just connect this point back to the one we've drawn before. So just connect this just like this, so that everything can meet and you can just have a curved line just like this. So this is what we have here. So we've measured the back. The next thing to do now is to just cut this out. So I'll still be using the back to cut out the front. You know, I didn't rule out all those parts there, so you do the same thing. So after cutting, you open up that side, and this is what we have. So this is the front, and this is overlapping. So this is what it looks like. So now let's go ahead and cut our sleeve. So this is a sleeve pattern I have, and this sleeve is from my shoulder down to my wrist. This sleeve pattern is 21 inches. Like I said, it's getting to my wrist, exactly at my wrist. So it's stopping around here. So that's 21 inches, but I want the sleeve to be longer, so I'm adding additional 3 inches to this. So this will make the sleeve 24 inches. So altogether, the bell sleeve, that is the fitted part, and the flare part will be 24 inches. So for the peplum part, I want it to be 6 inches above, so this should stop at 18 inches. So the peplum will be, the flare rather, will be 6 inches, while the straight part of my sleeve will be 18 inches. I hope you understand. So it will be 18 inches. So the pattern I have there, I will just measure 18 inches on that pattern, and I will fold the remaining part inside. So I'm using a flare of 6 inches, and the straight sleeve is 18 inches. So altogether I have 24, and that's fine by me. So this is my pattern. I'll measure my 18 inches because I don't want to cut out this pattern. I'll still need it. So I'll measure 18 inches just like that, then I'll just fold it at that area. So I'll fold it in, then I'll use my pattern to cut my sleeve, and I will add the necessary joining allowance. So that's 18 inches like that. So now go ahead and just cut my sleeve. So this is the sleeve that I've cut out, and there are 2. So placing my pattern on it, as you can see, I added ½ inch at the lower part for joining, 1 inch for sewing, and ½ inch for joining at the upper part. So I'm notching the midpoint of that part there. So that's that about the straight part. So for the flare that will be adding is a 360-degree flare, and the length I have here is 8.5. Though our flare length should be 6, but you'll be adding ½ inch for joining and 1/4 inch for the bias turning. So you'll be measuring 6 3/4 here. So the remaining part here will be for the opening of the flare. So you measure 6 3/4 inches all around. So in case you have enough fabric, you can just double this up. So you cut 4 of this. So you use 2 for one hand. That is, you sew it. You use the same fabric for the lining. So this part here, I'll measure it like this. So it should be more than or exactly your wrist measurement, but I always like it to be more than, so that I can make gathers and the flare can be full at that area. So I'll place it on this other one, then I'll just cut this part out. So I'll cut this out. So this is ready. So for the belt, so this is my fabric, and it should be about 5 inches. Like, you know, we are aiming at a 2 inches wide belt. So when we join it, like when we fold it into two, and so we should have 4. So you should measure 5 inches wideness for this belt. And for the length, you can do whatsoever length you want depending on your fabric. So I'm slanting the edge of this belt right here, so that I don't have a 4-corner belt. Then for the length, I'm using about 41 inches long. For the belt, I'm using 41 inches long. So if you have enough fabric, you can use 41, or you can reduce it if you don't have up to this. So now let's start joining the main bodies. So these are the main bodies. So I'm opening up the back like this, then I'll place the front on it. So I'll place it like this, and I'll also place the other one. So placing it like this, you can see the neckline of the front. So I'll measure this, my neckline, to know if I'm okay with this. So this is where the neckline will get to. As you can see where they are overlapping. So I'll leave ½ inch upward, then I'll measure. So measuring this, I have 7 inches, which is fine by me. The neckline is fine. So in case you want it lower, you can still reduce it. So I'll go ahead and join the side and the shoulder area. And after joining, I will use my bias tape to hem this part all around, like together with the back. I will hem it, then I will also show you what I have. So I've used the bias tape to turn the neckline, and I've hemmed the lower part of my wrap top. So now let's sew our sleeve. So this is my sleeve, and I'll use a bias tape to hem the lower part, and for the straight part I will just sew it with 1 inch sewing allowance. So this is the straight parts, and I've went ahead to hem the flare sleeve. So now I'll be placing this flare like this. As you can see how the straight part is, so you place it in such a way like this. Right side must be facing each other, then you just pin all around. So I'll usually pin just like 4 times. I just go ahead and pin. So you pin, so any excess you have, just try and make it gathers inside for it to be full. If you're watching up to this point and you haven't liked this video, why? Please like this video. Thank you. So you just go ahead and pin, and any excess you have, you just split it in between. So I'll do the same thing for both, and this is what we have. It looks fun. It looks really nice. It looks beautiful. So this is what it looks like on my hand. So the next thing I'll be doing is to join the sleeve to the blouse. So with the ½ inch we added, you just go ahead and join this. So after joining, this is what I have. The only thing left now is to add our belt. So this is the belt. I'll go ahead and fold like this, and I will sew. Go ahead and sew. So after sewing, this is what I have. The next thing to do is to turn this. After turning, then you iron. So this is what it should look like. So the belts are ready. It's time to fix it to the blouse. So this is the edge we'll be fixing the belt to. So you just place it like this and make sure the both sides are equal. So you make sure they are equal, then you just join with ½ inch. So you join it with ½ inch, then you do the same thing for the other side. So after joining, what I like to do is to just fold this part inside again. So I'll just fold it like this just to close that part up. So you fold it inside, then you sew on top. Just sew right on top of it. So after sewing, this is what it looks like, and it looks really neat. So for this top, we are done with the sewing of this top. As you've seen in the intro video, it looks really nice. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like, comment, and I will see you in my next tutorial. Bye.